guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jasmine. So today I've got another Sims 4 speed build for you, and sorry it's been a while since I last posted a Sims 4 build. I felt like I needed a tiny bit of a break from building in The Sims and watching The Sims as well. I've barely watched anyone's YouTube videos, so I'm sorry about that. I've been reading a lot instead. That's basically what's been distracting me. But I'm feeling creatively refreshed now, and I'm really happy with this one. My main goal with this build was to use a lot of the objects from the new Paranormal pack that we got in The Sims 4, so the new stuff pack. And by the way, I will not be playing with the gameplay. I'm not interested in it at all. I don't really do occults. I don't really do, you know, I know it's not scary because it's The Sims, but just that kind of genre doesn't really interest me. But I can appreciate that it's a really good pack, and it's got some amazing build and buy objects. I'm super excited about the build objects that I use in this build. The wallpapers as well are beautiful. I haven't actually looked at the CAS yet, so let me know down below what you guys think of the CAS items, because I'd love to know what your opinion of those are. But yeah, the build and buy is basically full of a load of Victorian style furnishings, which is personally one of my favourite styles to build with. I love history, I studied art history, and the Victorian era in particular is my absolute favourite. So I'm really happy with the style of furnishings that they've given us. And yeah, we'll get into it in a little bit more detail when we start furnishing the interior of the build. But basically I wanted an excuse to play around with as many interiors as I possibly could. So I thought the idea of like a small bed and breakfast might be nice, because then I could do several interior rooms where I use a few different swatches of all of the items and play around with how I can mix and match them with some of the other objects in the game. And I basically end up creating a different style for each of the swatches of that new wallpaper that we get in the pack, which is amazing, by the way. We have needed a cute granny wallpaper like this for absolutely ages, one that doesn't have like bats on them from the vampire pack, because I love those wallpapers, but I hate the fact that if you look close enough you can actually see bats. That kind of annoys me, but I love these wallpapers. They're so cute, so I'm really happy with them. The other thing that inspired this build was Chesapeake Shores, and I've mentioned the TV series a while back, and now I'm reading the books that the series was based on. And in the series one of the characters runs a B&B on the beach, and I tried to base the build off the same building from the show, which has kind of wooden shingle like exterior walls and is trimmed with pastel green pillars and windows, but the swatches in game for those things just did not work at all in The Sims, and we really don't have any pretty pastel windows, for example, in that style that I needed at least, which is a shame. But I kind of tried to make it work. I kind of tried to make it look beachy, the same vibe of a worn wood exterior, so I think it's Island Living that exterior wood is. So I hope you like it. Let me know down below what you think of the build. I also tried to feature landscaping quite a lot in the build. So you will have seen that I used the tool mod to lower some of the trees and bushes into the ground to make them look like big floral plants or bushes, which is a technique I actually got from Planet Zoo, because you can do that quite easily in Planet Zoo, but we don't have that option in game in The Sims, so I had to use the tool mod, so sorry about that. And I also built a little shaded area using that floral awning that we got. I think it was in a recent base game update that we got that, and I just surrounded it by flowers basically, and I thought it'd be a cute little area for some outdoor seating, because although it's a B&B, I thought it might also function as a cafe during the day or something like that, so you might not necessarily be having to stay in one of the rooms in order to order food. So I gave this build lots and lots of seating. There's some seating indoors as well, and there's some on that porch area, and most of the seating is in the conservatory indoors, so you'll see that in a little bit later on. And oh my god, I love the sofas and chairs and rug actually in this pack. I kind of wish that a few of the swatches on the rug were a bit nicer. There's two really good swatches, and I kind of like the plain blue one as well. That one's quite nice. But then there are a couple like the yellow. There's like some plain colour swatches with the same pattern on, but they don't have any sort of variety of colours, which is a shame because it kind of modernises the style of the rug. And I feel like we could have done with at least a couple more colourful swatches that maybe tie in a few more tones within a room. At the minute, I think I've got Strangerville rug, and I forgot when I was building this that the new pack actually came with a new rug, and then as soon as I remembered, I came back and put it in the living room because I thought that it would work really well, and it is a really nice rug, so I just wanted to use it. I just wanted an excuse to use all of new items basically. But yeah, we have been needing a new sofa and some new chairs in the game for absolutely ages because I always struggle with furnishing living rooms, and that's because I rarely furnish modern living rooms. I always go for cottage, cozy kind of builds, and we just don't have, well, we have sofas that suit that kind of style in The Sims, but the colour swatches on those sofas, I'm thinking the cats and dogs one, which is very cottagey, but it's got absolutely horrible colour swatches on it. It has very few colour swatches as well, like they don't even give you much of a variety, and the type of colours are all really pale, and I think it's the cushions as well. For some reason they give you loads of cushions, and that's nice. I always like having cushions, but because you can't choose the colour of the cushions in relation to the rest of the sofa, they're basically unusable because I think the cushions are all like either horrible stripe patterns or the same colour as the sofa itself, and the sofa isn't a very nice colour to begin with. So I really hate using those sofas in my build. So I'm really glad that we got another, not old-fashioned, but I think it's quite versatile. It's a versatile sofa. It could look quite modern in certain contexts, but it also could look quite vintage, which I really like. And we got some really beautiful swatches with it, some very versatile colours. Quite a few of the swatches are quite loud. I think some of them are quite intense patterns, and the ones that are more plain or normal colours have quite intense cushions and throws as well in terms of colours and patterns. The one that I use is just plain white, and I kind of wish that it had some variation in the cushions and the throws, that it wasn't just white. That's a bit of a shame, but I get why they do it because then it will kind of go with everything. But it does kind of annoy me that they only gave us one plain white, and then the other white option with the more interesting throws and cushions had like a weird white pattern on it. I was like, oh, I just wish they hadn't bothered with this pattern. Just annoying, but I'm not going to complain because I really love the sofas and chairs overall, so yeah. And there are also some really beautiful clutter items that you can unlock with the game as well. Like I say, I've not played with the gameplay at all, not interested in playing it with it either, but I just from building I could see there was like that silhouette portrait frame that I used on the fireplace mantelpiece, and that's really pretty. And there were also loads of sweet jars, which I thought was really cute. They're quite good for cluttering up a space. Again, I have no idea how they're using gameplay, so, and whether or not they affect your build in gameplay, so sorry if they do, if they like create a certain mood or something in your house. That's annoying, I'm sorry about that. But yeah, you can basically get them from the 2 debug cheats, so that's quite handy. And I cut out the footage, but I spent ages trying to create a cool shelf in the kitchen using the tool mod because I thought that main back wall looked a bit bare and it needed filling up somehow, but I ended up hating what I did and deleted the footage, so you didn't see it, but I wasted a whole bunch of time doing that, which is really frustrating, but oh well. I wanted to make something interesting for you guys and creative, but I ended up just not using it at all, so sorry about that. And I absolutely love this wallpaper. I've said it already in this voiceover, so I'm sorry about that, but the blue wallpaper, the sort of tealy blue with the gold floral design on it, I think that's my favourite swatch. It's just so pretty, and it goes really nicely with that sort of orangey timber furniture that I add in, I think. So I made the most of that combination. The sort of gold and blue combo looks really nice, I think. And then for the other 2 bedrooms, I used a trick to create a custom bed because I was really struggling with matching a bed to the rest of the rooms, the yellow and the sort of magenta room, and I couldn't find a bed frame that had a decent cover to fit stylistically with the rest of the room. So what I end up doing is I used the Seasons bed, you know, the one with the big duvet, the big fluffy duvet. It's got like a plain white swatch, which I use in almost all of my builds, just because I think that swatch of the duvet is most realistic. I think it's quite common for people to have quite a plain duvet cover. Well, not necessarily, but I think compared to some of the really loud and heavy pattern swatches of duvet covers that we get in The Sims that go with absolutely nothing else in the game, I think it makes more sense to have a plain white duvet cover. So I wanted to use that, but then I wanted a more elaborate, less modern bed frame. So what I did was I raised up the Seasons bed ever so slightly, and then I just positioned it using the Alt key so that you couldn't see the cushions of the other bed below, and it clips through a tiny bit. You can tell around the sides of the bed and at the bottom of the bed, the way that the duvet cover sort of spills out, it does poke through the other bed, if that makes sense. It doesn't look perfect, but it looks good enough for me, so I ended up going with that because I thought that looked quite nice. And this pink room, or this purple room, whatever colour you think it is, it's a bit much, isn't it? It's not quite the same cottagey feel as the rest of the build is, I don't think, but it's got this really sort of opulent, Victorian, luxurious feel about it, which I definitely love, and I wanted to make use of, not necessarily in this build, but I basically just couldn't resist. I saw this wallpaper and I was like, oh, I've got to go to town on this style, and I just wanted to give it a go. So I hope you like it, even if it doesn't fit in this context. Maybe it will give you some ideas for your builds. And then the last one is this really, really bright, sunny yellow room, and I kind of think this yellow wallpaper could be toned down a little bit. It is really, really bright. It could do with just being slightly less bright, but it is nice all the same. And yeah, I basically used the same duvet trick with a Seasons bed frame instead, and I really like that bed frame. It does have the potential to be a really nice bed as well. No, it's cats and dogs, I think it's a cats and dogs bed, my apologies. Yeah, it could be a really nice bed, but for some reason the duvet covers for that bed are just hideous. Like I say, they're like horrible patterns that no one in the world would ever buy. Sorry if you have a duvet cover that looks like the one from that bed, but I would never buy it personally. It doesn't go with very many other objects in the game. It just looks weird, so that's why I hate it. So yeah, but that's pretty much the end of the build now, so I hope you like it. Let me know down in the comments below which style room is your favourite. Do you like the cottagey yellow or the luxurious pink or blue? Which one do you like? I think I like the blue one best. And let me know what you think of the Paranormal Stuff Pack, whether you're a fan of the gameplay or the build and buy. I'll be interested to see how many people like this style of build and buy other than just me, because I'm a history nerd. But yes, if you like this video, please like, comment and subscribe. It really does help the channel out. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye guys!